Shawn Dell Joyce, and I'm a professional artist from Florida. I'm really deeply inspired and moved by the old Florida landscape. Some of the people who heavily influenced me were the Florida highwaymen. They had a desire to not only capture the landscape, but to preserve it and the feel for what Florida used to be like before the development came. So a lot of the paintings that I've done are based on some photo references that I took while kayaking. The whole host of birds rose up out of a cow pasture and looked like a host of angels. And so I immediately shot some pictures and added them in. Almost none of the birds were actually there. So most of them, I've taken some artistic license and put them into the scene. And some of the scenes themselves are a combination of what I wish it looked like and what it actually looks like. So I believe in Transcendentalism, that nature will grow and conquer. And so often I take away the buildings that are in the skyline and I replace them with trees. So most of these landscapes are an amalgam of different things I've seen and witnessed as I've been painting. As a professional painter, I often plein air paint. I compete nationally through the country and have blessedly won many awards. So when I'm out painting, I'm often making color notes in my head, how the light reflects off the water, how it wraps around the form, the shape of the trees. And when I get back to the studio, I take some of my paintings, some of the photos, and I make these beautiful scenes that were not actually there. So many of them, there may have been elements in place like the distant hill, but the sailboat got added. There may have been a beautiful sunset, but the sandhill cranes were not there. This couple was actually in a drainage ditch in Largo, and I shot some pictures of them and painted them into the scene. One of the benefits of spending a lot of time painting outside is you really understand how that light is going to look when it hits those birds. So I am teaching a workshop here coming up in how to predict how light's going to wrap around a bird when you add it into a scene. So if you want to take a beautiful old Florida scene like this and enhance it with pretty much any bird, I can show you how to match that. It is one of my superpowers, which is kind of cool. Not totally useful in the real world, but hey. One of the things that we are lucky enough to live with here in Florida are these incredible thunderstorms that roll in out of nowhere, and some of the most beautiful sunsets happen because of these storms. Some of the cloud formations and reflections on the water, you can't see color like this in places up north. You know, it's uniquely ours, and many of us take full advantage of this. This particular painting was inspired by a nature preserve, and I embellished a little bit with the time of day with the birds. There's very few nature preserves left, and there's actually a bill being considered to put golf courses and pickleball areas on pretty much every Florida park. So I'm hoping that people will stand with me in realizing how important these natural spaces are to our wildlife, but also to us, because we need to be connected to nature. Nature runs through us. We are not separate from it. It's part of us. And I hope, if nothing else, you get that from my paintings, that you belong here. You are here. This is part of the scene, is your interpretation of it. So thank you very much for joining me and appreciating my work.